Let me just make sure I share the screen. Okay. And can everyone see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is going to be, again, our overview on the onboarding process, our processes in compliance, as well as the RSC support. This video is going to go over the onboarding process. Please let me know. I'm going to pause it once we first start just to make sure everyone can hear and make sure the sound is good.
All good.
Can everyone hear that?
No, now we can't. No.
Welcome and thank you for joining us today. If you are viewing this video, it means that you have already received.
Is that still faint, Julie?
Yeah, it's really faint.
Received 2 emails from coworkers. The first email
now?
is noreplier@coworkstaffing.com.
Yes. Yeah.
And this will give you access to ProMatch X. The second email is the sender of cowork staffing services, and that comes from the sender digital-noreply@estaff.com. When you click on the email from digital-noreply@estaff365.com, you will be prompted to this page. You'll see 2 bullet points. The first bullet point is your checklist for all of your onboarding documents, and your username is listed there, and that is your email address. When you click on the checklist, you will be prompted to forgot password prompt. When you click on reset password, in your email on file with us, you will receive an email that has your password included in it. It comes from Cowork Staffing Services, and the subject is reset password. You'll click on the link, you'll choose a password. Confirm the password and click confirm. If the new password and the confirmed password do not match, you will get a notice. For Chrome users or Edge users, you'll be able to save this password, and then you can choose your preferred language. The first portion of the online application that you're going to complete is going to be the profile section. The system will ask you for a middle name. If you do not have a middle name or don't want to use a middle name, you can check off the box that you do not have a middle name. Any of the boxes that includes a red asterisk, you will need to complete. Some of this information could be pre-populated from the information that we received from our client's account executive. Your home address is your resident address. Your country will always be the United States. And your mailing address would be if the address is different from your home address. If it's the same, you can go ahead to the next step. In your personal information, we'll ask you for your social security number, your date of birth, and you must be 18 years of age or older to work for CoWork Staffing Services. You would check off the applicable work eligibility and click to the next step. Okay. Verify the personal information that you entered. Indeed is correct. Choose yes. Okay. This is voluntary self-identification. If you do not wish to self-identify, you will check off the I prefer not to self-identify. Same with veteran status. And click next step. Okay. By checking this box, you are only submitting the application portion of your application, and you are affirming that that information is true and accurate. Click on submit. And once you do so, you will be taken to the policy portion of the online application. Depending on the client or the state that you're representing, will depend on the number of documents that need to be authorized. Every page that you're in the online application, you must scroll down to show that you've read and acknowledged each of the pages. Check off the box, electronically sign with your finger or your stylus, and you will be prompted to begin the policies. Click on start. Each of these pages will be prompted to also include your name at the bottom of each page and the date, and that you electronically signed it. You can print or download these documents for future use. And at the bottom of each page, you'll just need to check the box and accept the document. And it'll prompt you to the next document that you need to sign. Same, scroll down to the end, check off the box, and accept. Form W-4 is your federal W-4. If you are uncertain what exemptions to choose, you could check with your tax preparer. CoWorks is not able to provide any guidance on how many exemptions that you should claim. Your W-4 will be pre-populated with your choices. Again, scroll to the end, check the box, and accept. These are general safety rules for when you are on assignment with our clients. One very important piece to point out is that you are not permitted to enter any stock rooms of the retailer, and you are not permitted at all to climb ladders at the retailers. If in the event you are injured on the job, This document will provide you with the steps that are needed to complete a workers' compensation form. Someone from our workers' comp team would reach out to you once this form has been submitted, and you can print or download this as well. Mandatory contact notice states that at the end of your assignment, you must contact coworkers to let us know that you are available for work. Failure to do so could impact your eligibility to collect unemployment benefits. Depending on the client that you work with on assignment with, will depend on if there are additional documents that are going to be required. This is a dress code policy. The next is a collateral ownership, which means that any promotional items, blotter cards, testers, any product that's delivered to your home must be returned at the end of your assignment to cowork staffing or to the client. W-2 electronic consent form. At the end of every year, we prepare W-2 forms for all of our employees who received a paycheck in the previous year. By January 31st, those electronic W-2s are available, and W-2s are mailed to the individual's homes. You want to be sure that if you have moved during the course of the year that you contact coworks so that we have your current address on file. If you have a change in email address for your electronic W-2, you will want to be sure to contact us. These are just some additional documents. Onboarding documents for confidentiality, drug and alcohol policy, things of that nature. Again, you'll need to scroll to the bottom of the document, check off that you've read and acknowledged, and accept. Again, depending on the state that you reside in, will depend on what policies appear. This one happens to be for New Jersey. Again, you go to the end of the document, check and accept. You have two options for your pay methods. You can choose direct deposit, that is deposited directly into your check, and your pay is available 2 days after coworks processes. Or if you choose, you can choose a payroll check, which is a live payroll check that is mailed from our Morristown, New Jersey location. And depending on the USPS will depend on how long it takes to get to you. So we do strongly recommend a direct deposit or electronic pay method. You will include your routing number and your account number, and you'll also need to confirm your account number. Once they match, you can submit, and the first time you're paid, your pay will go into your checking or savings account. Your emergency contact information. And this is in the event that we need to reach out to a friend or family member. You are eligible for health benefits, dental, eye benefits through CoWork Staffing Services. You have 30 days from your first paycheck to enroll in the plan. If you do not enroll in the plan within the first 30 days, then you need to wait until open enrollment in order to participate in the medical coverage. There are also additional buy-up plans, should you choose that you would like. And check off the box and accept. Okay. You will begin the WOTC survey. You will click here and you're just going to answer a few questions. Your street address. Okay, and it'll just prompt you through a few questions. Answer the questions to the best of your ability and choose next. Okay. Once you have finished this piece of the application, you are going to close out of that tab. And then you are going to submit. Then you come down to the bottom, check off the box, and accept. Depending on the state that you live or work in, will depend on the state withholding forms that are attached to your profile. And again, with any tax forms, CoWorks is not able to give you any guidance on the exemptions that you're going to claim. This is the end of the online application portion. Please stay tuned for step 2.
Okay, so after the application, if the application is completed by 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the same day, the employee will receive the electronic I-9. So that's the next set of videos that we're going to watch. If it is after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they will not receive the electronic I-9 email until 24 business hours. We do it twice a day once the volume does increase. So they'll get an I-9 starting at either 12 o'clock or 3 p.m. depending. So we do 2 slots for the peak times. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up the email that the employee receives once they're uploaded to our electronic I-9 system. We are on copy for every single email that the RSC and FM receives. So this way we're able to verify if it's an invalid email address. It explains to the employee what is required for step 1 of the I-9. Provides them with a PDF link of the acceptable documents. We also advise in section 1 that they will need to log in and identify someone to act as an authorized verifier to complete section 2 of the I-9. We have updated, and this one is an older email, so I do apologize. We have updated this to state that the CoWorks client is the account executive so that they're aware that you guys cannot complete the electronic I-9 for them. Okay. So along in this video, you will see the link. This is a specific link for the FM and RSC for them to log in for section 1. They're provided with a username and a unique password to log into the system. And this is the portion where we added after CoWorks client, in parentheses, it does say account executive so that they're aware. That was some feedback we received from the first call. So along with this email, there is a video which guides the employee as to how to complete Section 1, and that's the video that we're going to receive now. So not only do they see the PDF with everything as far as the instructions within the email, they have a video that they can also watch. And this is just for Section 1 of the I-9. And I just want to
Karen, I'm with Luxury Method and Cowork Staffing Services.
can everyone
Today, I'm
hear?
going to record for you a
Yes.
step-by-step guide on how to complete the government form I-9 and the reason why it's necessary. This is done in conjunction with our HR partner, Griffin Technology, and so I'm going to take you through every step. So for Section 1, the first thing that will happen is you're going to receive an email from support@Griffin HR that explains the purpose of the government form I-9. It establishes your identity and your ability to be authorized to work in the United States. You have a link here that takes you to a very comprehensive document if you want to download that. You have a hyperlink that takes you into the technology itself. Your username is your email address, and then you'll have a computer generated password. So before you even get started with your Section 1 of your Form I-9, it is really advisable that you try to identify your authorized verifier. Your authorized verifier is going to meet with you for Section 2 of the Form I-9. They need to be 21 years of age or older. They cannot be related to you, and they cannot be a family member, a co-works client, or a convicted felon. There's somebody that you need to feel comfortable showing your IDs to, because what they're going to do is they need to physically view them and enter the information on them into the technology. That is a requirement of the government. So right now, I'm going to take you right into the system. And my best suggestion to you is to first take and copy your password. Click on to access the technology. And you're going to be prompted to log in using your username, which is your email address. And then I'm going to paste my computer generated password and log in. Now, this is another reason it's nice that you pasted your password, because you'll need it again, because it's going to prompt you to change your password to a password that you're comfortable with. The password has to be at least 8 characters long, has to contain 1 uppercase letter, 1 lowercase letter, a number between 0 and 9, and a special character. And I entered in. And my suggestion to you is, after you've entered it in, is you make a note to yourself so you know what your password is, just in the event for some reason you need to log out and log back in again. So you have your password, and you're going to go to stuff to do. So the stuff to do is, if you've already collected your verifier's information, you're going to want to go in and enter their information into the system. So in other words, after you finish completing Section 1 of the Form I-9, you're going to need to meet with your designated authorized verifier to complete Section 2. And we talked about the criteria that they needed to have, and the fact that they needed to see your unexpired original documents. So if you have their information, you would click Next here and enter in their information. And the information you need from the verifiers is their first and last name, their email address, their primary phone number, and their address. So if we don't have that yet, I'm going to click on Previous, and I'm going to cancel this so that I can get started with Section 1 of the Form I-9. First place you're going to be taken to is a landing page that has hyperlinks to several different documents that explains the I-9 process and what's involved. You're welcome to download these and print them out if you'd like. I'm going to go next because I don't need to, any information about it. I'm pretty well versed about the E-Verify process and why people need to complete the Form I-9, but you're more than welcome to download those and view them. So when I go to next, I'm going to enter the last name, first name, and if you can enter a middle initial. If you don't have a middle initial, you can hit N/A. And then you also have the option of entering another last name. So if you were previously married or you had another name that you went by, you can enter that here, or again, type in the N/A. Then enter your address. And if you have an apartment, you would put your apartment number in here or building number. If not, again, you use the NA. Then you select your state and use your down arrow to get to the state that you want, if it doesn't come up on the top. And then put in your zip code. Once you're completed, you're just going to click next. And then it's going to ask you and prompt you for your social security number. So I'm going to enter that in. And it's going to ask you to repeat it. And then your date of birth. And it's going to prompt you to put in your email address. If you don't choose to put that in there, you can then get into N/A. Same thing with your phone number. You can opt to put that in, or you can select N/A and then click next. This page asks you, what is your status in the United States? So, and you're attesting to this under the penalty of perjury that you are a citizen of the United States, a non-citizen national of the United States, a lawful permanent resident, or an alien authorized to work. If you have any want additional information on any of these statuses, you can click on this little information button next to each section. But I'm going to click on a citizen of the United States. So it's going to ask me to review my information to make sure everything's in there correctly. Then you're going to read through the employee attestation. And once you've read through that, you're attesting to the fact that the information you provided is factual. You have a choice of handwriting in your signature, which I find a little awkward. So I'm going to hit clear, and I'm going to let the computer generate it for me by clicking on generate. I'm going to go to next. It's going to ask you whether or not a preparer or translator assisted you in completing section 1. I did not have any assistance, so I'm going to select no, but if you did have assistance, you can select yes and enter in your translator or preparer's information. So I'm going to go to next, and I've now completed my section 1 of my I-9. So I'm going to click finish. And now it's going to take me to the last task that I have to do, which is assigning my third-party representative. That's what I need to do in order to go on to section 2. So again, it just repeats the status that the person needs to be at least 21 years of age or older, cannot be related to you, and cannot be a family member, a co-works client, or a convicted felon. So I'm going to click next and type in last name, first name, the primary email address, the primary phone number, my verifier, and the primary address. And just so happens Brian lives near where I am. And you want to key down if your state doesn't come up right away. Enter your zip code. And then use your down arrow button. Go to next. And now I am finished. As soon as I click this button, my verifier is going to receive an email from me, from the system, giving them access to log on. And I'll show you that right now. Oops. And that begins the process for section 2. I'm going to stop this recording now, and I'm going to do a separate recording for section 2. Thank you guys so much for participating in this video, and I hope it answered some of the questions for you and made the process easier. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was section 1 of the I-9. Once the verifier information is entered, we also receive a copy of what's sent to that verifier. So this is a copy of the email sent to Tyler on behalf of Christine, asking him or her to act as the authorized verifier on behalf of Christine, letting him know he needs to be at least 21 years of age. You cannot be a family member, a cowork's client. This has account executive in it as well, or a convicted felon. If you do not meet the criteria, please stop and call us. So this is our onboarding team number. So if any verifier, including yourself, you receive this email, please forward it over to me. We will follow up with the RSC or FM and let them know that you are not able to act as a verifier, as that does create a co-employment issue for coworkers in PUIG. They also receive a PDF guide of the acceptable documents that they can receive from the employee, letting them know that they will need to inspect the original unexpired documents to establish identity. They also receive a specific web link. It is not the same one that the employee received. This is only for the verifier, along with their username and a unique password. They also receive a video to section 2, which I will start to play now.
Hi, my name is Robin Curran. I'm with Luxury Method and Cowork Staffing Services. This video is how to complete section 2 of the government form I-9 for both the candidate and for the authorized verifier. So I'm going to take you step by step through the Griffin HR technology platform. The first thing that will happen is once the candidate has completed section 1 of the form I-9, they will enter in their authorized verifier's information, and that'll automatically trigger an email. This is an example. It explains the purpose of their role in the completion of section 2. And the form I-9 is to establish identity and employment authorization to work in the United States. There is a hyperlink to a very detailed agent guide if the authorized verifier would like to go through that. But basically, the authorized verifier's role is to inspect the original unexpired documents and that were provided to them, and to establish the identity and the U.S. employment eligibility of the candidate, and certify that the documents appear to be genuine and are related to the person physically presenting them to him. There is a link that hyperlinks you into the technology. The username is usually the email address, and then the password is a computer generated password. So my best practice is always to copy that, so that when I click on here to go into the technology, I have my password is already copied in, and I just need to enter in my username. And to log in, you'll see this says welcome to the authorized verifier. There's one task to be completed, essentially to completing the section 2 of the form I-9 for Robin Trainee. That your participation is very important and very much appreciated, and that please review the candidate's documents that are presented and enter the information accurately. When you're finished, you're going to sign off and attest to the information that's collected. Hit next, And so for this particular candidate, they provided their driver's license. I'm going to use my down arrow so I can get to my next button. And for this one, I'm going to select a New Jersey driver's license. I'm going to enter in the document ID. I'm going to enter in the expiration date on the document. And then I'm going to proceed to next. The next document that was going to be presented to me was an original or certified copy of a birth certificate. So I'm going to select that and go to next. So the issuing authority and this one's the state of New Jersey. The document number is entered in. And if there's an expiration date, you would enter that in here. If not, what you do is you move this little button over that says this document does not have an expiration date, which most birth certificates don't. I'm going to hit next. What it's going to bring you to is the document review. So you can see the driver's license, the document number, the expiration date, the birth certificate, the issuing authority, the document number, and there was no expiration date on this. If that is all correct, you can hit next. If you need to go back and update anything, you can hit previous and it'll take you back to the previous screen so you can make any corrections that may be needed. So I'm going to hit next. And it's going to say this is the confirmation start date. And I'm going to just go and confirm that this is the confirmation start date. Use my down buttons and I'm going to look at today's date. My name is the authorized representative. The title is Authorized Representative for Co-work Staffing Services, our address, and then the authorizer is going to attest that they have physically examined the documents presented by the above named employee and that all the documents appear to be genuine and are related to the employee's name to the best of their knowledge, and the employee is authorized to work in the United States. So I'm going to click yes on here. They could try to make a signature if they want using their mouse. I find that kind of challenging, so I'm going to hit clear and let the system go ahead and generate my signature. I'm going to click next. And I'm complete. So Robin Trainee is now all set and can be loaded up into the technology platform to receive schedules. And they will also get an email that says that they are completed everything as well. So I will bring that email over to you in just a second. And it says, this is the email to inform you that the I-9 request for Robin Trainee has been completed. Thank you. And we're all set to go to get her scheduled and get her working. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions or you need any support, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We have a whole staff of people prepared to help you out. Again, thank you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
And that was the section 2 of the I-9. In a normal time frame, if an employee is doing the I-9 as well as the verifier in section 2, they can complete that process within about 20 minutes in one sitting. It's going to depend on the RSC FM. The next email that is received once the I-9 has been verified, because everything has to go through E-Verify to make sure employment is authorized. Sometimes there are delays with E-Verify depending on if they're having system issues. So we're not able to provide an update as soon as possible. We do have to wait for that process to push through. Once that happens, we do then upload the employees into the system. That's done on the next business day by between 12 and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. During our peak times, we do uploads twice a day. We do one in the morning. I want to say that's by, I want to make sure I'm saying the right time, between 12 and 1, and then another one at 5 for those employees that have completed after the time frame. So that's only during our peak times. Each employee receives the user guide, which is a detailed step-by-step guide of what they need to do within the system as far as logging in, as well as, and I'm just going to breeze through this, how to check if they have a message from you as the account executive, how to update and view their availability, as well as how to submit their time card with their retail sales listing that they need to do the dollar amount. This is provided to every single employee, as well as the meal break policy for any applicable state and the instructions on how to view their pay stub. These are the extended guides. We do provide a quick overview of logging into the system in the body of the email with the details, as well as the information on how to view their pay stubs and any additional information about the medical benefits or 401k enrollment plan if needed. They are provided with the contact number for our customer care team and the hours of operation. They are also advised that this email does not guarantee any hours in the system, so that they may be scheduled at will. Once they receive that email, they're able to log into the system. And this is checked before they even receive the email. I am copied on every single email sent to a PUIG RSC/FM so that I'm aware of everyone that's received login information. Sometimes we do have to resend it. Unfortunately, we have no capability to stop the emails from going into junk or spam mail for the employees. Most of these settings are based off of how the employee has their information set up because of different firewalls. I'm going to continue through with the slide, and I thank everyone for holding the questions until the end. We're almost through with the process. Um, this is just a general overview of the RSC onboarding process. You, as the account executive, submits the referral. The employee receives the email from CoWorks. Um, we then send them, once they complete the application, once they do that, they receive the electronic I-9 process. But in between the receiving of the email from our eStaff system, most of you have already been on copy. You received the onboarding guide that gives a step-by-step of what the employee is going to inspect throughout the process. This helps so that they know what emails are coming through so that they're able to check in their junk or their spam mail folder, since we are not able to modify those settings for each employee. Once they complete the I-9, they are then uploaded and considered an improved CoWorks employee. They go into the workforce system. We then provide them with the email I just showed you with the guide, the meal break policy, as well as the pay stub information. And then you can begin to schedule them in the system. If you do not see an RSC or FM in the workforce system, please do not schedule them unless you've received confirmation from myself, someone here at CoWorks, that they are approved to work. There are limited circumstances where we do allow an employee to work before being uploaded just due to timing. We have to make sure that their employment is authorized. Within this process, I also want to mention, if you're onboarding for an employee that works for another client, you still need to submit a referral for this employee. This triggers the 4 additional PUIG documents that the employee must complete before being onboarded into the system. Those documents are the dress code, the confidentiality agreement, the collateral form, and overtime policy. And I know within the questions there was about the overtime policy. Yes, we can provide that. It outlines all of the information with how many hours the employee should work, making sure it's authorized, and then basically not making their own hours. But we'll be able to provide that to you guys as well. If you submit a referral for an employee and you notice that the email address is invalid, whether you're looking at the new hire report or the employee has followed up with you stating they haven't received the communication, please reach out to me instead of submitting a new referral. The reason that I ask that is I'm able to search by the name or email address for anyone that's been submitted that you received a confirmation for. We can modify the email address to update it instead of creating a new referral, which would lead a new person in the system for us to follow up. And probably not have any contact with. So it's just to make sure that we are updating what's already in the system, reaching out to the employee and following up with them as well. The next slide is regarding the RSCs and FM's timesheet deadlines. Every employee has to submit their time cards Monday by 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. If there's ever a change in the timesheet deadline, we will communicate that to you as the account executives as well as the employees. Any employee that has not submitted their time card by 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be contacted by our team to ask about those hours. They receive an email communication with our contact information as well, letting them know there's blank or missing information for that week for their time cards. All time cards have to be approved Tuesdays, no later than 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by you as the account executive. Any time card not approved by 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be approved by CoWorks to make sure we're in compliance with paying our employees in a timely fashion. Wednesday is when we process all approved timesheets. Any timesheet not submitted and approved will be processed within the following week due to our guidelines that we have. Okay. And our next slide is about referrals. I know mostly everyone here has seen this website. It's just a reminder on the website that you're going to use with the company code. Once you submit your referral, whether that employee is in the system, active for PUIG or another client, you will receive an email confirmation. That confirmation is important to let you know that the referral did go through. That's something that you can forward over to me if you have a question about an employee that has not received any information. This way we can track and see the date and time that everything was submitted. The next slide is our support team. We do have our customer care team. They are able to assist with any password resets, assist with entering time cards. That is the 908-462-5137 number. We do provide this in each of our signatures as well when we're sending out emails to the employees. The email, just to backtrack, the email with the login information that is sent directly from a CoWorks employee with the luxury method ending for the address portion. We send it that way so that we're able to get a read receipt, and that's why I'm always copied on it. So it comes from 3 people, Rosa, Ruben, sometimes it may come from myself. We have another team member named Val. We have other team members here that will send out that information as well. Just know I'll always be copied on those communications. So if you have a question about who has or who has not received login information, please feel free to reach out. Our onboarding team, they are here for online application assistance and I-9 assistance. If an employee needs assistance with completing Section 2 with their verifier or they're stuck in a part, they can give our team a call. The hours are the same for each of these 3 lines. Monday through Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday and Friday, we only have hours until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is only during non-peak hours. Once we go into the peak hours, we do have extended hours on Thursdays and weekends. We will communicate once that happens so that we're able to assist all employees. And now we are at the questions portion. So I'm going to go to the chat first, and then if anyone has a question that's not in the chat, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. And Kathy, you did ask let me start back at the top.
Yep, I
This
think we
process,
answered, yeah, I think
oh,
we
sorry.
answered all of the questions that were in the chat, either
Yes.
between myself or Robin.
Okay. So were there any additional questions? Did anyone need any elaboration or anything?
I did. I can't find the chat over here. So,
Okay,
so
that's okay.
okay. I think I had a conversation at one point. I don't know if this has changed, but where, yes, they could not use immediate family for the I-9, but they could use a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law.
That's correct.
That's right.
Okay, in that case, can you add that? Because I would think that would be family. I mean, are you able to add that to say, but you can use your sister-in-law, brother-in-law?
I really don't want to encourage that. Honestly, that's one of the reasons we left that out. And I'll tell you why. People read and don't pay enough attention, and the government is very strict about who's allowed to act as the agent. And we don't want them getting confused between an in-law and a family member. I don't want someone coming back to us and say, oh, when I read it, I thought it meant I could use my sister. Didn't read far enough or pay attention enough that it was sister-in-law. So that's why we haven't really tried to expand on that, is we really don't want them using family members. They really, if they have neighbors, they have friends, they have anybody else that they feel comfortable with, that they can use, that would be the preference. And if they don't have anyone that they're comfortable with, we do have a notary network that we can tap into. It's expensive, but we will do it for any time somebody doesn't have somebody that they feel comfortable. But it does delay the process by about 2 days for us to arrange for a notary to schedule time to meet them and act as their agent.
Okay. One other question, and this is just because I've experienced it a couple times. If one of our RSCs, like you said, get hurt on the job, and they pursue help, to have their medical bills paid for, are they automatically not allowed to work for coworks again?
No.
No.
So the process is that they immediately need to contact coworks. So understanding if they need medical assistance, like an ambulance takes them away, they need to contact us as soon as possible to report the injury. And then we have designated sites where we want them to receive treatment from. So if they have already gone ahead and gotten treatment through another facility, then our workers' comp team will work with them. And then once they're released to full duty, then we work with the account executive to see whether or not they have hours available for them, and then they can come back to work. As long as there's no limitations on what they can do. A lot of times when they say that, like, they can only be on light duty, that means that they can't stand for long periods of time, and that isn't always conducive with your business model. They have to stand for the majority of the day. So those are really just the requirements of workers' comp.
Okay, because I had 2 people that were not allowed to come back after they were injured because they, one broke their hip, and then the other one they were tripped by a customer, and they were not allowed to work for coworks anymore.
I don't know if it's a matter
if
to not allowed to work for us. It's a matter of what their limitations, like when Nancy said earlier.
Correct.
If their doctor releases them, but has a lot of limitations that we just can't help them with, like you can't have them sitting in the store, or or not able to stand, that would just prohibit them from being able to do the job. But it wasn't a matter that we just said you got injured, so we're not going to work with you. That's absolutely not true. We have worker comp injuries that happen all the time, but we have to abide by the worker comp laws that they have to fully be released by their physicians, or if they're not fully released, what their limitations are. And then if we can work with those limitations, we absolutely do, and we have. But if their limitations are so stringent that really just aren't conducive to them being able to do the job for you, then unfortunately, we can't work for them, for an RSS.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they could try to work for one of our branches in a different capacity.
Okay, I might sideline that with one of you because that's not what happened. They
You
had
can send that
to
to me.
refer them to L'Oreal. So
If,
that
yeah,
was not fun.
if you could send me the names, Myra, if you know the names,
That
I
would
can
be
work with
great.
our workers' comp team to find out
Okay.
what the circumstances are behind that.
That would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure. Sure.
Hey, you
I
guys,
think
I had
in-
a quick question. This is Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Hello. I
Hello.
noticed during the presentation that you used 3 different terms for the verifier. You used agent, representative, verifier. My only request is, can we go into one term, because it does get confusing to the employee and to the person they select, and then the terminology, if we have to relay something, if they're hearing agent, representative, and verifier, to know when it all refers to that one person. Just a little food for thought.
Absolutely. That's a great suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's within the
Okay,
video
thanks.
within all the rest of the verbiage that does go to the employee besides the video, which we can revise. It does identify them as the authorized verifier because we wanted to stick with one terminology,
Okay.
to your point, Denise,
Yep.
to avoid confusion. So we can modify that.
Okay. There was one video that they said represent, so
We can't.
thanks so much.
Sorry, Denise, we can't hear you. Did anybody else hear her?
No, it cut out.
Denise, can
Cut
you
out.
just
I
repeat
muted
yourself?
I'm muted
Yeah,
because I'm driving.
It's okay.
Okay.
I said there was one video that used the word representative, and I know you can't redo a video, but that was the reason that I called it out, is that they were hearing 2 things. So it was the actual video that was talking about that was for the verifier for part 2, the word representative was used. I mean, I'm not making a
No,
big
no,
deal.
I appreciate you pointing
It
that
should be
out,
a
but
difference, yeah.
that video was done prior to us changing the terminology to an
Okay.
authorized verifier. So
Okay.
it's a good point, like Nancy and Latasha said, a very good point made. We'll look to re-record those.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Just want you to know.
You're
I'm muting.
welcome.
Thank you.
I know we've got to stop here pretty quick, but question on all of those, like the safety form and all that,
Mhm.
people that started with CoWorks with us back in 2014 when we first came to CoWorks, have
Mhm.
those people those RSCs been brought up with all of those forms? Because I feel like
Yes,
the people applying today have different forms than probably somebody who started. I guess did you recircle back to those people and send them forms so that everybody?
Yeah. So the safety form is the same that it's been back since
Okay.
for
all
several
right.
years, probably since
Mhm.
2010, the safety piece. The
Okay.
newest piece is the incident form. So the
Okay.
incident form just says to report it as soon as possible. We can definitely circulate that out. It probably would
I was
behoove
just
us to do
curious.
that
I mean,
before the holiday season, especially
I
with all the
wouldn't-
trip and falls that we've had over the past year.
I just the whole
So
stock room and kind of thing like that.
yes, absolutely. Yep.
And
I have
Go
one
ahead.
question in regards to the collateral, the PUIG, the blotters, testers, and all that. Is it written in there that obviously it's only to be used at store level and to be used, the way we want it to be used? My point is, I'm trying to get to, using it in a way that is not with PUIG, i.e., you know what I'm saying, without saying
Like
it.
selling it at a flea market. You cannot sell it
Yeah.
at the flea market
Is
kind of
that
thing.
anywhere in there? Because that obviously is a concern and an issue with this audience,
I will need to look at that policy. That's actually, it predated PUIG. It was a clearance policy that we just
Yeah.
put the PUIG name on it. So so we'll take a look at that. If that's not in there, we'll go ahead and make sure that that's added.
Okay.
Like no
okay.
resale.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances are you to
Yeah.
resell any of the product, and all of the
Yeah.
product needs to be returned at the end of the assignment.
And I know you guys need to get going because you've got stuff. We also have stuff. But I want to thank you so much for your time. I know we all have so much going on right now, but it was really valuable to understand the process and to learn every step so we are familiar with everything, and also like a refresher too. So thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Julie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
We'll talk to you
Bye.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.